All right, everybody, we are back with another edition of SWAC Smoke coming at you. We're live again. C Wells here, got DJ over there, and we're gonna talk about last week's action. We're gonna week 5 is in the books now, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about that, and then we're gonna talk about week 6, and we got a couple other things that we're gonna touch on as we go. So let's um let's not waste too much time. Let's go ahead and hop into week 6, week 5, because there was a lot of stuff going on.
Crazy week, man. Crazy week. We're gonna start off with the probably most talked about game, the Alabama A&M Grambling game. I mean, I spoke last week. I said last week if Glass can't fix the turnover problem, it's gonna be hard on them. 4 turnovers, 58% completion percentage, which is still low. As well as he do statistically, that still bothers me. I don't know if it's drops, poor balls being thrown, if he's rushed a lot. A lot of factors play into incomplete balls, but nevertheless, 58% again. And I want to know what happened to Quarles that game.
Yeah, like I was watching as I was watching the game. I actually kept thinking about what you said, about the turnovers, and that's been something we've been talking about basically since the season started. And Grambling just made them uncomfortable. They got some good pressure with their defensive line, and they had a couple balls that got intercepted with tipped. He had a fumble that he tried to make something happen on, and they only ran the ball 18 times. They threw it 62. So you throw 62 times, you're not really gonna beat too many people, man. That's just you really putting yourself in a bad position, and you only run it 18. It was just one of those weird games. Grambling was down 14 to nothing, and they found they got some turnovers. One of them they fumbled return for a touchdown, and they was on their way. I did think Noah Biden had a good game as a freshman, though he didn't make any huge mistakes, and he managed the game well. So that was an ambush, man. Grambling really ambushed them, and they took care of business.
All right. Moving on, Pine Bluff versus Prairie View. Terrible game by Pine Bluff. No run game. Starting quarterback Skylar Perry, 9 of 29 for 51 yards. It's almost like them and Gremlin switched places with that. And the coaches, I don't know why they didn't stick with the backup guy. After the first half, they come back out with Perry. I don't understand that. The backup guy, he was moving the offense and playing pretty decent compared to Perry. But
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Pine Bluff, man. That run game is disappearing. They started off the season running the ball well, but now it's like falling off a cliff. This is back to back weeks of poor rushing efforts, and I don't know what the problem is. Skylar Perry did not look good. Like you said, they benched him. They probably should have stuck with the backup. Just I mean, at that point, what really was the difference? But they're gonna have to solve this and solve it real quick, because they got a tough game coming up this weekend as well. So they got to be careful before they find themselves out of the race.
all right. Um, Mississippi Valley, North Carolina Central. I was wrong. I want to give Valley their credit. I was so excited. I was glad to be proven wrong. I mean, they were almost statistically even in that game for the most part, but I see Valley had a fourth down conversion. I don't know how much of a role that played in them winning, but for it to be an even game, Valley edged it out. I'm happy.
Yeah, like this was the classic Valley game. They hung around and they hung around. They didn't really do a lot offensively till the end of the game. They had a, a um a good return on the kickoff at the end, and a face mask to get them really good field position. Defensively, they stayed in it. They got a pick 6 right before the half. North Carolina Central should have just ran the clock out. They tried to throw the ball. Valley intercepted it and ran it back for a touchdown to tie the game up at half. But I was real happy, man. Valley, they deserve this W. They play hard every week, and I think they're gonna continue to get better. They still haven't put it all together, but they're getting there. And I mean, I don't know if anybody cannot be happy for what they're doing. So I wish them the best all season. Since we done playing them, I wish them the best.
All right. Now we're gonna go down to Tallahassee. And what I saw was a beating from beginning to end. I mean, ASU had poor offense, poor offensive line play. I don't know if some of their guys hurt or what, but they were just overmatched. They had some little linemen. Quarterback play was terrible. When they got to the third string quarterback, he actually played the best towards the end. The running game was non-existent. It's just FAMU dominated that game in the trenches. They didn't really play well offensively either. FAMU didn't. But when you're getting as many opportunities to touch the ball as they did, eventually you're gonna start making some plays. But Alabama State, I don't know what it was, but they stunk it up. And I see they fired the OC. We'll see if that helps any, but I don't think that was the OC. I think it's a personnel issue.
Yeah, I remember seeing on Facebook they was talking about Alabama State was bringing 12 buses down there. I think they left the offense in Montgomery. Ryan Nettles was, he was not good at all. That probably was the worst game I've ever seen him play. And the running game was non-existent. You got Ezra Gray and Ja'Cory Merritt, two big time backs for their offense, and they can't get it going. That's a problem. Like you said, the pass protection was bad. FAMU had 4 or 5 sacks on the night, and it was just domination. I mean, to me, the game wasn't even as close as the score was because Alabama State's defense is good enough that they was able to hold. And Florida A&M defense was good enough to hold them. I mean, I had it backwards. Let me slow down. Alabama State's defense was good enough to hold FAMU down a little bit, especially in the second half, but they just couldn't overcome that bad offense. So I didn't really get to watch a lot of that game. I kept up with the score, and I was really surprised because I thought that would be a close game all the way through.
Yeah, I even heard some of their fans say, I knew we would lose, but we couldn't score a touchdown. So, I mean, it was just bad, you know.
Yeah, and like a lot of times people have been saying, Coach Ely is on the hot seat, and some people don't understand why. Games like this are why. Alabama State's a team that's always up and down. They may win a game, then lose a game, win a game, lose a game. They don't ever really go on long streaks either way, forward or winning or losing. But this game, like I said, is a horrible thing, and firing the coordinator was basically like a saving grace right now. So they lose again in pole fashion. You can't fire another OC, so it's gonna
Yeah.
be heads are gonna roll at the end of the season if things don't shape up.
All right. Last game, Bethune Cookman, South Carolina State. That pretty much went how I expected it. South Carolina State played a solid game. That's all I got. I mean, third
Yeah,
down, they was good. Fourth down, they was good.
Bethune Cookman in trouble, man. I've been saying that they a team to look out for. Right now they in trouble. They're 0-5 and they on a slippery slope right now. If they lose this next game, they already out of the race, but they will be buried at this point, and their confidence has to be shaken now because they had another poor rushing effort this week, and this team is not what I thought they would be. So they really they're another team that has some soul searching to do. It's a few teams that's got to really check out themselves and figure out who they are and what they are. So they are top on that soul searching list. They have to really have come to Jesus meeting somewhere, and they got the right to ship.
Well, we're gonna move on to picking next week's game. Then we'll get into some roundtable talk after that.
All right.
So we're gonna kick it off with Pine Bluff and Alabama State. I'm gonna go with Alabama State in this one simply because of their defense, and I feel like it's a must-win game. It's homecoming. It's at home. I think their defense is good enough to keep them around, and I just think they may be able to establish a running game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a close one, but I'm going to pick Bama State in this one.
Yeah, I've been going back and forth on this game because I feel like both of these teams are in must-win situations. Pine Bluff being 0-2 in the conference right now. They cannot afford a loss. Alabama State still got Jackson State and Alabama and them on the schedule. They really can't afford a loss coming off the FAMU game. But I think Alabama State is going to find a way to win this game. I think it's going to be a low scoring game, probably maybe like mid 20s. I don't think it's going to be a crazy game because neither team has really shown a lot of offensive explosion in recent weeks. So I I think it's gonna be a dogfight, man. I think it's gonna come down to the end and two teams scrapping and fighting, but I think Alabama State gonna pull it out.
All right. And we're going to roll into another homecoming in Lorna, Mississippi, Alcorn GSU. I still got to go with Alcorn on this one. Season squad, homecoming. I don't think Gremlin is quite there yet, but maybe they can show me different.
Yeah, I think I really want to go. I think Grambling has Alcorn's number to an extent, but I don't see them playing two games like that back to back. So I think Alcorn's gonna win. I really think, like I said earlier, I think the running game is gonna be the key to this team. Alcorn, if they can run, that makes them even more dangerous. So I expect the running backs to get it going, and the receivers and Felix Harper should put on a good show. As long as they don't turn the ball over, then they'll be okay.
All right. Mississippi Valley, Bethune Cookman. I'm on the Valley High. I'm gonna ride with Valley. I'm gonna go and get on the bus.
Hey, welcome aboard, man. It's plenty of room on here, so welcome aboard. I'm picking Valley too. I think this is the nail in Bethune Cookman coffin this season. Valley is playing. Valley has a very good defense, and they have some athletes on offense. So if they can make a couple plays, then they will be dangerous. I think the defense is going to keep them in this game, and they're going to find a way to win and pick up their first SWAC win. So let's go Valley, man. I'm all in.
All right. This is an interesting one. For some reason, I'm seeing people pick TSU over Southern this week. I mean, I can't go there. I ain't gonna disrespect Southern like yet. I'm going Southern.
Well, like I say, I I don't have no problem picking against Southern, but not this week. I don't see what everybody is seeing right now. I think people are really underestimating Southern. This team, the bye week came at a good time. They had some dudes banged up on the defense. They had like 5 or 6 guys that missed either all of the Valley game or portions of the Valley game, so they healed up in that aspect. The running game is back on track. I think Bubba McDaniel has another week under his belt, and they've been molding the system a little bit to them. And I think Texas Southern, they do have some players now, and I think Andrew Body is gonna be a star in the future. Like we got a comment right here that basically said that he's gonna be a guy, man. He's gonna be the guy in the future, but I think not right now. I think Southern it has a little bit too much, and I know my TSU people are gonna get on me for that, but I think Southern is gonna win, man. It's gonna be close for a while. And I think Southern gonna wear them down because I think that Texas Southern defense is gonna be a problem. It's gonna be the problem for them as far as winning this game.
Yeah, I don't think their quarterback is enough. I mean, I root for him, but I just don't think that's enough to beat this Southern team right now. All right, moving on. South Carolina State, FAMU. This is a tough one for me to pick, but I'm gonna go FAMU.
Yeah, I really, I really want to pick South Carolina State because I thought they played a really good game against Bethune-Cookman, but they still 1-3. So they have scored a lot of points, but they've
Mm.
given up a lot of points. And I think FAMU playing at home, if their defense plays anywhere near the effort that they put on against Alabama State, then I think they'll win. Um, they haven't beat South Carolina State in Bragg in a long time, so I think they do for that. So I'm going Rattlers, but I look at South Carolina State as an honorary SWAC member because this is their third game against a SWAC opponent. So if we expand it, man, they already done played 3 SWAC East teams. So let's go ahead and bring them in and let's call Tennessee State too. Go ahead and get them in. Let's tell them to quit messing around and come on board.
All right. Jackson State, Alabama A&M. Uh, I think I'm gonna go JSU in this one based on their defense. I think they're gonna get enough pressure on glass. I think they're gonna cause enough disruption, and their defense definitely is not gonna stop Jackson all game. So I'm gonna go Jackson State in this one.
Yeah, this is the game everybody been talking about for the last, well, honestly, since the summer. This game has been building up and building up. A&M lost the ground. It didn't even really take a lot of luster off of it to a lot of people, but I think it opened some eyes to what some issues that Alabama A&M does have. They have to run the ball to win this game. Garrett Quarles has to be a factor. You can't have Glass standing back there throwing the ball 30, 40, 50 times. Jackson's going to kill him on that. But I think if they had beat Grambling, I would be all Alabama A&M because I feel like they would have had a lot of momentum. But I don't know how that loss really affected them. They saying they okay, but nobody gonna say that, man, we not ready for this game. So I don't know if their words and their actions are gonna match up. I think Jackson got too many athletes on defense, and I think they'll stop them enough, and the offense will score enough. Hopefully Jackson can run the ball this week because A&M defense is probably one of the worst that I've seen this year. They don't really stop anybody. They give up a lot of points. So Jackson, if you want to score points, this is the week to do it. I'm going JSU, man. I think Coach Prime wins this matchup between the coaches.
All right. Well, that wrap up the picks. And I kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about my experience at FAMU over the weekend. One of the best electrifying feelings in a stadium I've had in a very long time. My question is well, let me just kind of set it up. The support that they have, people love FAMU. You can't tell them nothing about the Rattlers, nothing bad. The students showed up, the alumni showed up. I mean, the stadium was full. What is it about certain schools that you can create that type of atmosphere? Like where I'm from in Pine Bluff, people halfway show up to the games. They complain about the ticket prices. They complain about the team losing. They complain about not having, you know, uh, I guess facilities and this and that. But people don't want to contribute. They don't want to buy a ticket. They don't want to donate anything. They don't want to give anything to get something. They just want, the team to win. But support goes a long way. Like that environment at Bragg, it was tough for the opposing team to play in. That matters. And if they had any student athletes that were on visit, if I was on a visit that week or that weekend, I probably would have committed on the spot just because of the atmosphere. It was that great on top of a win. But it just kind of sucked you in. So for anybody out there watching or in UC Wells that has a HBCU probably in your city or close enough to where you're around it all the time, what do you think about your fan base? I mean, is it overwhelmingly supportive of the team or is it kind of, could it be better? What's your experience like?
Well, I say for me, it's pride, man. Like there's a pride with being a Jaguar, just like there's a pride with being a Rattler. Those fan bases are similar in that way. And it goes back a long time. You know, it's like I know people that are like, 60, 70 years old. They love being Jaguars, man, and you feel it. So you, if you're gonna be a part of it, you can't help but match that atmosphere and that intensity. And you just know that your home is the best. You feel like you're the best, and you're gonna come out and show out. Um, Losing can hamper that a little bit, but I think it just all is a feeling, man. Like I know when you like you said when you step in the brag, those people are they proud people, man. They're gonna talk trash, but they're gonna support their team, win or
Yeah.
lose. They're gonna be there. They travel well. It just is a mindset, man. It's something that I think a lot of schools you either I hate to say it like this, but you either have it or you don't. It's one of those things that's hard to build if you don't already have it because it starts before before our group. Like it
Right.
starts way back. You can start it now, but it's gonna take years for it to get to that point. So I think it's just a tradition. It is. There's a lot of families that are, in my case, that are Jaguars from top to bottom. My nephew and my niece, when they were kids, my nephew used to dress up like a band member. My niece was a cheerleader, and then she ultimately went to Southern as a cheerleader. So it's just it's kind of expected. You don't have any other thing. You can like another team, but you love that team, and I think that's what it is, and it shows when you have a good environment. People come out and they really want to support the team. The community as well plays a big part in that. You can't really draw a huge crowd without the community outside of your university. So being in cities like that, like Baton Rouge, is a city that has a lot of people that support Southern. So you're gonna get that community to come out. But I will say at the same time, if you lose too much, a lot of people will get upset. And Southern had turned some people away for a minute, but they're starting to get it back. So it's all just being proudful, man. Just being proud to be a Jaguar, and I love it. I couldn't be anything else.
All right. 2 points I'm gonna make. On one, when you talk about being like a Jag through and through as far as a family, I was sitting next to a Rattler family, and it was the grandmother and the granddaughter. But she said that she went to FAMU, her daughter went to FAMU. Now sitting next to me was her granddaughter who was enrolled in FAMU. So it like you're saying, it's a complete, family tree. And the other point I wanted to make was I don't know how it is in LSU or Baton Rouge between LSU and Southern, but I know in Arkansas, you got, of course, the Razorbacks. You got diehard Razorback fans. Razorbacks ain't won nothing. You know what I mean? But you got people that support Pine Bluff, but they'll, skip a Pine Bluff game to watch a Hogs game. People that's alumni of Pine Bluff. So I don't know if winning is it or what. I don't know what the issue is in Pine Bluff, but we're quicker to support a PWI than our own HBCU.
Well, I'm gonna touch on both of your points. I'm gonna start with the first one. Like you said, it's a family affair supporting schools. Like I said, my father is probably one of the biggest Jaguar fans that I ever met. But my dad didn't go to Southern, but he moved down here in the '60s and he fell in love with the school and the program, and he followed it, joined the booster clubs and all of that, and now he's a huge Jag fan. I mean, we used to go to every game, home and away, when I was younger. We didn't miss a game unless it was like in California or somewhere like
Yeah.
that. So we would go to at least 10 games out of 11, and that's just a family thing. It's expected. That's why when I moved to Florida, I still was driving back to go to Southern games because it was just in me. But the second point you made, it's a weird thing between Southern and LSU. It depends on your age. People like I'm 44, so people my age and older, we had a different feeling toward LSU. I'm not gonna say hatred, but we didn't really like LSU. They weren't really accommodating to us back then. So we did our thing, they did their thing. But a lot of the younger people, they support LSU. My nephew loves LSU. He went to Southern. He loves Southern, but he loves LSU. I mean, he's a Jaguar, But if LSU playing a big game, he probably gonna watch that game as long as Southern not playing a big game. So it's just I don't really understand it. I was out of town. I was in Florida when
Yeah.
that switch started to flip. But I think around the time LSU won their championship in 2003, things started to change, and then as they got better, they started attracting more people, and Southern kind of went on a slide. So it kind of played hand in hand. But it's like I know certain games, like if Alabama and LSU playing, hopefully Southern not playing nobody that's good. I mean, if they playing like Jackson and Alabama playing LSU, then people gonna beat up. But if it's like a D2 game or something like that,
Yeah.
they're gonna stay home and watch that game, and they're not gonna worry about it. But that it's like I said, it's changed, and it's. I think the relationship between the schools is a lot better now. LSU has helped out Southern with a few things, and Southern is the city is starting to adapt to both schools. So I think on that end, I think it's pretty good. But it's just weird to me because I'm not from that school of thought.
Yeah. I got you. Last thing I had is I kind of feel like I don't know if you experienced a bad breakup before or not, but I kind of feel like I've experienced one with Southern when since Odom's gone. Like me and my dad talked about it earlier. It didn't seem like the same Southern no more, like the same energy coming from them. It's just weird. And I don't know if y'all felt like that when Coach Richardson left or y'all was ready for him to go, but man, I just really miss Odoms. It just don't seem like Southern to me right now.
Well, on the subject of bad breakups, I've been divorced, so I totally understand um, things not working out and that feeling that I don't really like this person or oh, I don't want to deal with them. But it's weird to me this whole situation, man. Even now I still can't really wrap my head around it. Like I feel like I told my wife this I don't I don't have no disrespect or anything toward Norfolk State. I don't have any hard feelings for Odoms making his move, but I can't watch him post about Norfolk State on Twitter, man. That hurts my heart. It's like seeing your girlfriend, ex girlfriend with another dude. It's like
Yeah.
I love him and I'm happy they're doing well, and I would love for Southern to do well and meet them in the Celebration Bowl. But I get this weird feeling when I read him posting, it's time for the Spartans to do this or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, that's my coach y'all got. And I was hard on Odoms, I mean, Jaguar fans are hard on anybody that coaches. So I was hard on him, but I did not want him to leave. I did not anticipate him leaving. So it's growing pains right now. You got Coach Rollins coming in. He's trying to keep some things the same, but at the same time, he got to put his own spin on certain things. So it's like growing pains. We feeling each other out. We don't, he ain't been with the program that long, so we don't know him. So it's like an unfamiliarity. It's it's like a give and take. When they do good, everybody's cool with them. When they struggling,
Yeah.
I second quarter, man, I've heard fans talk about, man, they gotta get rid of the coach. It's like, so you can't do that. But
Yeah.
it's one of those back and forth things. And like you said about when Coach Pete left, that was a situation where I think in some people's eyes, he stayed too long. The program started to change a little bit, so people was pushing for him to leave. But you have to be careful with what you bring in when you lose a guy. Stone Mitchell was a great guy. He was a great man. He did a really good job of off the field getting the program back on track, getting guys go to class and things. But he just could not coach that team on the field. But that led to Odom, so it kind of go hand in hand. But I understand, man. It's weird, sitting in that stadium and not seeing that big black man on the
Yeah.
sideline. So
Yeah.
I'm just, he had a, a personality in certain situations that was very brash and loud, not mean, but very brash and loud when he spoke to the crowd about things, and that's missing right now. So I'm hoping Coach Rollins can get himself acclimated and comfortable, so he can put his stamp on it. But right now it is weird, man. We in that weird post breakup situation. So I miss him, man. I really do.
Yeah. It's like he had a commanding presence, or he demanded respect almost, or he had that type of presence, even though he wasn't never disrespectful or rude or anything like that, but he just he had, I don't know, just a different presence. But I don't really see that in Rollins. Rollins kind of seemed like real mild mannered, real kind of soft spoken. That's just from observation. I don't know the man, and it has nothing to do with anything. That's just my observation. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm really paying a lot of attention to like Rollins' press conferences and things like that. And he is a guy that's not as he like you say he seems a little soft spoken. He knows his stuff. I think he has a good command of the team. I don't think it's a situation where he getting run over by guys, but
Right.
he Odom's had a way of if he was speaking to a group of people, he would not start his speech until the crowd said "Go Jags" to his liking. So he would say that 9 times if he had to get you to be loud enough to get to what he wanted. But he was also a guy that you could come up to and talk to, and he will hold a good conversation with you. So it's one of those situations where I just I'm hoping for the best for everybody. So I don't really want to go through another coaching change. So I hope Coach Rollins is the guy because he has a good background. But like I said, it's just growing pains.
All right. I ain't gonna hold too long. You got anything you want to hit on?
Yeah, I got one thing I want to touch on before we get up out of here. This week is Jackson State and Alabama A&M. Both coaches are huge personality type guys, but Coach Maynor talks a lot of trash, man, in the media.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's funny personally.
Yeah.
I don't think he mean no harm by it, but
Nah.
Dion call this stuff, excuse me, Coach Prime call himself taking a high road, which is funny to me that one of the brashest athletes is taking a high road, but I respect it. But I was gonna ask you, how do you feel about a coach going that route, talking trash in the media? Do you think it puts extra pressure on his team to win? Do you think it impacts how people look at him? How you feel about the other side with a guy, kind of, I'm not gonna do that. So I just wanted to see how you feel about that situation because that's been one of the things that's been keeping me entertained all week.
Yeah, I think it's I don't have a problem with either way, honestly. I wasn't a talker when I played. I was more about action. But as far as really to answer your question, I don't have a problem with either one. I think Coach Maynard, I think his players know that's how he is. And if he's always been that way, then that's normal for him. Just like I may not like, the fact that Coach Prime, how he goes about some of the stuff he goes about. Like I don't know if you watched any of that documentary they posted. Did you
Yeah, I
watch any of that?
saw. I watched. And I'm gonna sound like a hater when I say this, but I really watched it because I wanted to see what they said about the Southern game, which they didn't
Yeah.
talk about, but like for 5 seconds. But I did watch a couple episodes, but I didn't watch enough to really take anything from it because once I saw they basically whitewashed the Southern loss, I kind of turned it off because I'm just obsessed with Southern. But I didn't really watch enough of it to get a handle on anything, so I
Okay.
I can't really make any judgments off of it.
Well, my point I'm getting to is that Maynard has his way, Dion has his way. Dion is with the flashy. I'm pulling up to the game in this. When I go to the high school games, I got 30 people around me and cameras all the time. Like to me, that draws extra attention too. He might not be talking the trash in the media to the other team, but when you doing all that, I'm expecting you to win. You know what I'm saying? You got all this extra stuff going on. But with that documentary, to me, he was very divisive as a coach when he, called his transfer to 12 disciples. He have separate meetings with them. I'm expecting y'all to do this. To me, you putting them on a pedestal, which I don't think you should do that personally with any team because they decided to come here. Once you are a Southern Jaguar, you're a Southern Jaguar. It don't matter where you came from. You're a Southern Jaguar at this time. But so I think all coaches have their own ways of coaching that may work for Dion, and what Maynard does may work for him. I think it's entertaining. I think he's just having fun. It's kind of like Ocho Cinco. He was a talker. He talked a lot of trash, did a lot of foolishness, and Jerry Rice didn't. But both were good players.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Like you say, it basically all comes down to Saturday anyway. But
Yeah.
it's a nice little lead up. The game it built a little extra attention. It probably brought a couple other people who may not have watched this game. It actually kind of rebuilt a lot of belief in Alabama A&M because they were coming off the Grambling loss. Some people might not have thought they had a chance, but man was talking trash. So now you want to see if they can back it up. So I think ultimately I think this builds something between the two guys. I don't think it's anything personal. So I think if as long as they both there, I think that makes the game between the two teams interesting for upcoming years. So that was all I really had. I really wanted to ask you about that because I had been seeing it, and like I said, I've been laughing. The whole Scooter thing, and his comment about 5 stars last year. So I thought it was funny. So I just wanted to see get your thoughts on it. So that's pretty much all I have, for this week. Um, I'm not going to any games this week, so I'll be watching everything on TV as much as I can.
Right.
Um, I really want to go to the game next week, but it's not gonna happen. Um, my birthday is next Thursday, y'all. So if y'all want to send, I'm gonna be shameless. If y'all want to send me some money, my cash app is $/SWAC Talk. Y'all want to send me a birthday gift on next Thursday? I'll be 45. I think that's a nice number. But anyway, I hope Southern get me a birthday gift that weekend. But homecoming is October 23rd, so I'll be there. So anybody who's planning on coming to a Southern game in the future, October, November, man, hit me up. We can put something together and have some fun.
All right, man. Hope I ain't go too deep into my response to you. I just realized I went way into something else, but
Oh no, man, I like that, man, because I like for you to come out like that.
yeah.
You always try to be Mr. Calm and collected. I
No.
like to get you out your bag, man. Hey, that's what we do. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it, man. And hey, like I told you before, I love to talk. So hey, get me started and sit back. Like what Lane Kiffin said, get your popcorn ready.
Yeah.
Sit back and get your popcorn ready. So we I think we're gonna get on up out of here. Like I said, we'll be back next week, same time. So we'll hope to see you guys then, man. I'm Steve Wells. I don't have anything else to say. I don't have any catchy exit. So I'm out of here. DJ.
We out. Finna go eat dinner, man.
Oh yes indeed.
All
All right.
right.
We'll holler
All
at
right.
y'all.
All right.